Nissan e-Power. What's Nissan e-Power? Why are we calling? Oh, okay. This is a good start because the moment I say Nissan, the car's voice assistant starts to fire up. Anyway, so this is...
Cancelling voice recognition.
Thank you so much. This is an e-Power X-Trail. Now, X-Trail's an old brand. We first got X-Trail in Generation 1 some years ago. This particular one is on the new CMF CD platform, so it's very modern. It's also grown quite a lot since we first saw X-Trails as very much like a crossover. This is a proper big SUV. Now, I used to have a Pathfinder, and that really was a big SUV, and this isn't quite as big as that. This is slightly longer than an Ariya, but because it has a genuine estate car body shape, the boot space is a lot bigger. I can't remember the figures. I'll put them in a text box here. But what is e-Power? Well, e-Power is an electric vehicle that charges itself with a petrol engine, and that means you get the smoothness of an EV, like the Leaf that I arrived in this morning here at Fish Brothers Nissan Swindon, but you don't charge it, you put petrol in it. There's a 1.5 straight 4 petrol engine inside this, and when it needs to, it fires up and it charges the car. The X-Trail's grown, as I say, quite a little bit in its overall size since we first saw it at the early part of this century. This now comes in a 7-seat version. I don't know whether this is the 7-seater. If it is, I'll show you it in a minute. There's also a 4-wheel drive version. This isn't the 4-wheel drive, this is a front-wheel drive. I think that the electric powertrain lends itself well to 4-wheel drive systems because with a traditional internal combustion engine 4-wheel drive system, you have the engine at the front that drives the front wheels, and there's a prop shaft that goes down the middle of the car to drive to the back axle. Now, in an electric car, you don't need that. You just have a motor in the back. That's what makes me say that 4-wheel drive systems are suited to electric engines. I've never driven one of these cars before, so it's really good. The interior of this 2024 model is very, very modern. There's buttons for what you need, but there's also 2 nice big clear screens, and it's a very nice car to drive. It's a clearly well sorted electric vehicle, if you can get past the fact that there's a petrol engine under the bonnet. And personally, I don't mind. If, like me, the driving experience that is quiet, smooth, torquey is what you're after, then the e-Power X-Trail does deliver all of that. It's a very nice drive. It's extremely quiet. You'll often hear complaints about the price difference between EVs and internal combustion engine cars. Now, I regard this as an EV. This particular car we're in now, £37,000, and that's only £2,000 more than the petrol engine, which actually is a hybrid. Us Nissan nerds, if you'll pardon the expression, often talk in terms of generations. This is a Generation 4 car. This first came to us in 2021 on the CMF CD platform, and that's when we got e-Power. At the same point, diesel was dropped, so you cannot buy a diesel X-Trail new anymore. Where EVs really come alive is in the power. There's 210 horsepower available in this e-power version, and the hybrid, which is a petrol and electric, is 160. I haven't driven the hybrid version. I'm going to say that this is quite a large car, and 160 horsepower might feel a little bit slow, if you might say. But that's not always where EVs really come good. This is extremely torque. It's 330 Newton meters of torque. So there's lots of torque, and it's available straight away. There's no turbo lag. There's no transmission. There's no messing about. You get into the throttle, and you've got all of that power available straight away. So, and I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. If you disregard the petrol engine under the bonnet, this is a fantastic EV. So it's quite modern, the dashboard display. The power meter on the left, I don't know if you can quite see that. Yes, I think you can see that. Yes. Power meter on the left, there's power, and there's regen. You can see the wheels are blue, and it's feeding energy back into the battery. There's the power, there's the engine. So when there's extra power required, or when the battery gets low, the engine comes in. This is the second time I've driven a car with e-pedal. It's on, but I've never actually used it. So this might be fun. So e-pedal is one pedal driving, and basically when you come off the brake, the engine's just started. You probably can't hear that. I can only just hear it. The petrol engine has started to top up the battery. It's an odd sounding petrol engine, yes, because there's a slight growl to it. But it's not. It's by no. Oh, there's the pedal. Oh yeah. I say. Okay, I get it now. So I've now come off the accelerator, and the car has slowed quite dramatically. But it never comes to a stop. In Leaf, e-pedal does bring the car to a full stop. In a rear and X-Trail, it doesn't. It's not been very popular, I have to say. For people, there's the petrol engine again. I can hear it. I doubt you can. E-pedal, the new version of e-pedal as it is in X-Trail in the rear, not been terribly popular with Leaf owners because they like their car to come to a full stop with one pedal driving. And I must see, even the brake lights are coming on when I come off the pedal enough. It's very cool. I'm sure it takes some getting used to. It is a bit weird. Like the first time you drive with cruise control, that seems a bit weird, and then the first time you drive with adaptive cruise control, that feels weird as well. But now they're perfectly normal things to do. What about prices? The Ascendant Premium starts around £35,000. For £38,000 you can get the N connector version, which adds CarPlay, Android Auto, all-round cameras, and Nissan's driver assistance system called ProPilot. The one we tested was the Techno Plus, which is £43,500. Top of the range is N-Trek trim. If you really make merry with the options list, the 7-seat four-wheel drive version is nearly £47,000. But let's keep in mind that's a very capable car. this car. I've not had it for long. The rear view mirror seems a bit old school to me. It's quite square. I mean, I know that it's got sensors in it, but it's an odd design given the more curvy, perhaps friendlier design of other Nissans. But there's loads of grip. It drives extremely well. There's been a few bumps where we've been. Here's one, and it's not at all upset by these bumps. Shit, sorry. Oh, it's wrong. It was 30. Okay, don't worry. But all modern cars warn you when they think they're speeding. There's not that many bings and bongs. I was in an Ioniq 5 recently, and it terrorised us with bings, bongs. That speed warning that we heard just now. Actually, the cameras misread the sign, but all today's cars have these speed limit warning systems where it tells you that you're speeding. That's it. So I can cut that in with the external. We're very grateful to Simon and Fish Brothers Nissan in Swindon for lending us this car and looking after us that day. Thank you again.